Hi, I'm Dr. Angela McBrady of DoctorFlute.com, and today's flute tip is on finding color in your musical line. This is the second movement of Machinsky's three preludes for flute alone. And it's a good one to talk about tone color. And let's just talk about this a little bit in this opening phrase here. So tone color was a huge mystery to me when I was growing up. And even in the first year of college or so, I didn't really get tone color or what I was supposed to do with it, how I was supposed to change, and what it really meant. And so I have gone on a journey. I went on a journey at that time. And I still feel like I'm on a journey of tone color and what I want to do with the music that I'm making. Sometimes tone color can just be an instinctual thing that you don't even know you're doing. And that's fine for you performing, but you as a teacher, you want to know what is it that you're doing so that you can teach it to your students. So I have looked into tone color and I've read books on what people are talking about, and eventually I was able to come up with, okay, now I kind of understand it, and now let me play around with it. And so I do, but I think that I have to be really intentional if I'm going to really change color, because I want something here or something there. Because a lot of times now, I think that I just do it instinctually and not think about what's happening here. And there's nothing wrong with changing the color. Just record yourself and listen. Do you change the color? Do you do something different as you are playing? But let's look at this opening phrase. So the color that I might want here, and I might do it three different ways right now, but let's just say right now I want an edgier sound. It's Machinsky. It's the first and third movements are these happy fast movements, and I've got this slow one in between to contrast it. He's also a composer that was composing in the later 1900s, and so I want to use the colors that were available to the modern flute at that time. So I'm going to get maybe a little darker, a little edgier. And for that color, I have to be a little more spread or a little bit more E in my vowel shape inside my mouth. So I'm going to maybe blow my air a little bit down as well, because that's going to give me the sound I'm looking for. Now, I'm going to keep that sound, but right here, as I drop the G flat to the B flat, that interval, I don't feel like I want to have that edgier sound right there because my phrase changed. And as I was going up and going up and going up, and then all of a sudden I dropped down, and it surprised the ear. When you surprise your ear, that's a good way to say, maybe I should change my color because it's surprising. It's not what I expected to happen there. So if I'm playing the second measure, which is the top, the high A here, I have a faster vibrato. That vibrato is a color too. So I have a little bit faster vibrato. I'm keeping that E sound and change. So I changed more to an ah right here at the very end. Now let me put this all together. Now, when I come back in, I'm going to take it away with a little darker again. Then I'm going to change to a more ah. Change it. vibrato because it gives me that edge. It gives me a little bit extra color right there. Now, since that is similar to the other phrases where we dropped off, those, I might want to play around with just those and say, what color do I want those three endings, those little motives to be? And then put that color on when I'm doing the phrase. Now, at the very end of this phrase on the third line, it does the same motive again, but it's much higher, it's much more intense, and it's louder. So I'm not going to do that ah color at the very end. Now, someone else playing this could say, well, you know, I like the opening to be a little bit woodier. So here I'm going to start with an ah. Now we can keep the ah, but what if halfway through that I started to get a little edgier? So I got to an E in the middle and then I went to an ah at the very end. Something that you can play around with. So tone color doesn't have to be just one way. This is the formula for which you do this opening phrase. Do this with your vibrato, change to an E here, drop to an ah there, and taper off your vibrato. There isn't a formula. It's what is it that you like, and you get to experiment around with that. Changing the vowel shape inside your mouth is a great way to start changing the color and experimenting around. So let your ear guide you. Use the phrase that you have and say, is this a phrase that I need to use multiple colors within it, or do I want to keep the same focus, the same brightness all the way through because of this? Sometimes that would be because of the speed of which you are playing that particular exercise. So if they go too fast, you're not going to do a lot of changes in the middle, but a slow movement you get to just play around with. It's just gorgeous, and it's so much fun for you to make your own music and not always to make someone else's music. Have fun with your tone colors, use them, start experimenting, and see what music you can make. That's today's flute tip.